ground. We'll be doing this back and forth, and before you know our way in Nigeria, another national calamity will happen. We'll move on. We'll move on, and we'll abandon this one and start focusing on that one. So, whatever remedy JAMB is ready to offer, let us accept it and let it be part of the learning curve. That in the future they will, like when I came, you were saying about children failing exam, that it's not a death sentence, you know. That many great people learn from their own failure.
Yes.
So the problem is not to fall, but when you fall, what happens? So are you going to fall and be out, or you fall and pick up again and learn some lesson and become a better you? So I think next time Jambo is going to learn from this, what has happened.
Both the children and Jambo
will have a better institution,
Well, looking at the Guardian newspaper, it's also pointing to JAMB. The major story here says JAMB admits system error, released 379,997 candidates for fresh exam. Like Francis said, and you also agree, failure is part of development, not just in the school setting, but out of school setting, because it builds up the individual. But when you relate it to the story of how that young child took her life yesterday, with the mental stress and everything, there was even a problem of children getting to their exam centers because of the timing, which was not so relatable. What is your take on this? And is it that really the problem affected these 6 states? Because it was like most of the states, almost all the states, if not all the states in the southeast, are particularly Lagos, which is 6 states. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I used to tell my children the story of my own, the movie people would say true life story. You know, that the need to be resilient. It's unfortunate that young chap took that route, but this is where also our roles as adults, as parents, you know, as mentors, as teachers come, you know, because this act of suicide would have come from an emotionally weak person.
Yes.
You know.
How about the pressure?
We know it's got to come with emotionally weak person because it's a child. You know. So this is where we think that the parents will have a lot to do. I was in my own time, the JAMB with which I gained admission to the university. I think I did JAMB 2 or 3 tries. The first time I got admission, but I didn't like what was offered. I had to go and write again, abandon that because I was offered. You know.
Until you got the cut off.
And I got the very one I wrote the last time. I was in Lagos. My center was supposed to be a school. I've forgotten the name now. One school by Boba Hill, where they call First Upstairs, very close opposite there. So my sister's house, my elder sister's house was very close to the place. So I arrived from Lagos on a Friday to write the JAMB on a Saturday. And because my center, when I came, my nephew, my aunt, my sister's son took me to the school too. So it was just a 5 minutes walk across. So in the morning I was relaxed that once it's 8 o'clock, 8:30, because the exam was to start by 9. I was 8:30, I would just walk across to the place. So 8 o'clock, my sister was saying, "What are you doing? Go to your center, go and..." So even to 8, so she pressured me, and I just left. When I got there was no sign there was anything exam that was going to happen. Then I was shocked, you know. So I went, as I was going, there's a path to this. As I said, no, this, something is amiss. So I walk up to the gate, and in fact, 3 other persons. As I just, somebody came, so before you know, we were 3, 4 people. Yeah. The man said, una not here say, then change the center. You know, I were jotted. As I come, a man came and said, why una not listen to radio? So the announcement has been over the radio. So what do we do now? He said, go to Edia College. Edia, if you know Benin, from Oberhill to Edia College. We were lucky that a man brought, I think, the son. So in a 404 car, 504, the man then took all of them. When we got to Edia College, oh my God, the chaos there over people who have missed their center was something, you know. So, luckily for me, as I was, the place they said they were checking, there's a woman, people have crowded her. So because of the crowd, now the woman said she was not going to attend to anybody. So as they were pushing and pushing, I just blocked the woman, like, if you don't attend to me, you know. I said, what is wrong with you? He just took my paper and said, she just looked at it and said, go to Mornibg. The center is in Mornibg. Right there. As of this time, they were at the Faculty of Agric, Faculty of Arts and Institutions. I was dropped in Faculty of Science, is the first one. I checked, they said, no, it's not there. Where is it? The patient didn't know. He said, check education or... I went to Faculty of Art. It was there, the person, then there was that an official, I think from the JAMB office itself, that was attending to the other people with that confusion. It was there he took, said we should be on the line. Luckily, I rushed into the line. I was like the 5th person on the line, very long line. So it was quick to get to my turn. So when he checked it, he had a master sheet. So when he checked it, he said my center was a Keadon College of Education. I didn't know where Keadon. I said, where is a Keadon? Somebody said, follow me. Just follow. So I said, the man just said, took this my machine they call hijack. They said, take this. Then another person came and said, take these people to Keadon. We didn't even talk about price. So the guy took us. It was when we started heading, I know that we were heading towards Oluku. That's where the College of Education was. The guy took us to Keadon. By the time we got to Keadon, I was quiet. They had started the exam. So the man, I forgotten, but he talked about an outrageous fare. But because there was no bargain, so whatever he asked,
we paid him.
We paid. And the exam. When we got there, the letter we made said the time by the law that this is a short time. That if you are not here, you are not supposed. So we're talking the man. So myself, I was insisting. The other is a lady, a young girl. She had started crying. So, but myself, I insisted. So it was like, this boy, what is giving you this God? You know, it's okay, enter, but there will be there's nothing like extra time. How we rushed in. So as we rushed in, they gave me the paper because my surname, in case I was on the part, they have numbered the seat. So my friend, my seat was on the front row. I didn't have problem locating it, so I just sat down, you know. So I rushed whatever I could rush. Luckily, that was the year that they gave all the answer sheets for your 4 subjects, English and your optional. The answers, they were in one sheet. So the question paper is what they were giving different. So it was English that they gave. So it now gave me the English. Before I could write Jack, They said the time was up for English. They started giving people
So you went through all these.
their optional subjects. So what I did was I dropped the English. I went to government first because I know I had strength there. I went to government first. I went to economics and concluded with, I think, literature or religious knowledge. I wrote that time before I came out. So at the end of the day, this long and short of the story is that at the end of the day, I was able to still beat cutoff point. Because so what I was used to tell my children is that if I was not emotionally strong, and I know that many people that year, many people returned home. They went back home. They could not write the exam. You know. But I was so determined that no matter how little the time I have, at least if somebody is even good to help you get admission, at least you have a result. So as of that time, you don't no university. I'm very sure federal university. Nobody is going to consider you for admission if you didn't score 200. You know, that was in the 90s. So I was determined that no matter what, I will be able to score above 200. But lo and behold, merit list, my department, I was number 3. So what am I all this to see? It is the beginning. It's part of our training.
Emotional strength.
We must be emotionally strong.
So, but before we let's go of the jam conversation, my first question is, I have 2 questions, but the first one that hitting me right now is, how can parents train their children to be emotionally intelligent or strong in situations like this? And then secondly, how should parents tackle their children who might have failed the jam examination? How should they balance scolding and encouraging those children?
Fine. When even your child, you should even know what you should expect from your child. If you are part of their learning process, their schooling, because my children, they are in the universities. What they knew, the assignment every day, if I don't do it on daily basis, even the days we miss, must come back to it. I must look at your schoolwork. I must look at your assignment. I must look at your grades. You know, all of them, I know their areas of strength and areas of weakness. You know, and at every time, apart from school lessons, I got lesson teachers, and I also do my own with them by these stories, talking to them, letting them know that the education is not about just passing exam. Education is not about. I particularly let my children know that it is better for you to fail than to cheat and pass.
Yes.
Because if you cheat and pass, you will be carrying a certain deficiency along with you. And the day that thing will come for you or will come against you, it may be that you have forcefully arrived at a position that you didn't deserve, and you will be disgraced. You will crash. And that one, the trauma will live with you, or you will live with the trauma, so to say. So it's better for you. And I used to tell my children that university education is not a status symbol. Everybody must not go to university.
Nigerians need to know this.
It's not a status symbol. I told my children know that if you are not a university material, and I have no qualms with it, I have no problem with it. There are some other paths you will follow and you will excel. Sometimes I will ask them, okay, what we need in life is to live out our true potential. I told them that I don't see how a medical doctor is better than a musician. Everybody is in his own color. Nobody is less than the other. It is when we begin to. I was asking my friend, each time in our church when we do this going back to school program, they ask the children, say, what do you want to be? And I say, I want to be a doctor. This one, ask the children, why do you want to be a doctor? What does it take to be a doctor? They don't know. It is the conversations we hear us with the parents It is our emphasis they are following. You know, so so we will push somebody whose life vocation, whose life calling, whose life potential will lead to becoming maybe a journalist. We will lead the person to want to go and be a pharmacist. That is it. Look at it. Their poles are
different.
Our learning aptitudes are different. Some people are quantitative. Some people are quantitative in aptitude. Some people are qualitative in aptitude. Some people are good. Some people are genetically configured to cognitive learning domain. Some are configured towards the affective learning domain. Some are configured within the psychomotive learning domain. And in even these domains, there are still variations. There are still paths to be followed. No human being will ever be the best of what he or she has not been potentially. No matter how lucrative the football profession has become. You will not just because I want to be, it's a lucrative field. You don't just dash into football when you don't have skill. The coaches, they don't teach you the skills. They teach you how to apply the skills.
Okay.
That is how it is.
Petra, let's look at the next another paper, then we can look at another headline again.
The next newspaper is the Punch newspaper, and the screaming headline is also bordering on jam, where it says mass failure, jam bus sweeps as human error forces Lagos and Southeast to receipts. And the rider says 206,610.
That's on the Punch. That's on the Punch newspaper. Go ahead.
206,610 candidates affected in Lagos, 173,387 in Southeast. JAM, WAEC meet to avoid timetables clashes. Right at the top strip of the Punch newspaper, it says, rising insecurity. Tinubu and governors to deploy 130,000 new forest guards nationwide. And at the bottom strip, it says, NMPCL didn't remit 500 billion naira revenue in 2024. This is coming from World Bank. PDP crisis worsens as Southeast caucus moves defection. Afrima 2025. AU awards host city right to Lagos. Alright, that's it for the riders making the Punch news headlines. Okay, I think we can come back to the studio right now.
Okay.
So away from JAM, there's this headline I read about security and the president, Tinubu and governors to deploy 130,000 new forest guards nationwide. And that leaves the question begging, what is the role of the security forces if they are now imploring what do they call it?
Forest guards.
Forest guards. What is our security forces doing? Are they in charge of the urban areas while the forest guards now man the forest and the rural areas? I don't know.
See, we have had this conversation over the security and insecurity situation in our country severally. And I think it's something that should bother every person because it is every person's problem. I think there are things we are not doing rightly over the security situation, and I think the security situation is a human thing. The factors are human factors because each time the government feels threatened by opposition or by people who think that they want to expose the government to ridicule, in terms of people coming out to protest what they don't like, mass protests. we see how decisively, we see how our police and security agencies demonstrate strength. So, if, I don't know if you check the population of people who come out for protest, and the people who are, the population of people who are citizens who are engaged in this banditry and insurgency. So, if government can, security agents can respond with force to multitude of people at different locations. There's protests going on in Lagos, going on national protests, and they are able to clamp down on protesters and deal with them. So why is it so difficult? Because we are not saying this is over the years, because we are contending with this matter as a matter of over the years. It has become a recurring near thing, that we are living with. So I think if by government's own understanding and design, and they think the forest guard option will bring the desired results, I think it should be welcome. So, because all we are looking for now is that human factor that has become a clog in the efforts, in the fights against this insecurity. It should be addressed. If this is what is going to address it. But also remember, like I made reference to the policing issue. Robert Peel's, the Robert Peel's 9 principles of policing. You see, policing is everybody's work. It's just that the police officers are people who are paid, are taking it as a job to do the job that is meant to be done by all of us. So the only way the police will be effective is that they are complemented by all of us. So if there is, of course, policemen, the way God created us, nobody can be in 2 places at the same time. So for police to be effective, there must be effective intelligence gathering. And for them to be effective intelligence gathering, it means there are more people who are ready to give police information, to give police information, and the police should also treat such information professionally, with confidentiality, so that those who volunteer information will not be at risk. I think these are some of the aspects of fighting this insecurity. At everybody, it's a fact that every hand should be on deck. So, if what the federal government and the state government want to do now will bring the desired result, the citizens should give every cooperation, give every support that will make it work.
Giving cooperation aside, do you think that these guys have like a prerequisite knowledge on how to handle arms? Because we are talking about the security of the nation, because the president and the governors are all involved in this. So do you think that these guys have the requisite knowledge as it regards handling of arms, like the police, like the army, and others that have gone through the rank and files of how to handle arms and all of that?
Yeah, they may not, but again, they would definitely have to be trained. And in this kind of, because it's like an emergency now, so you are learning and scaling up. So when they are the government, of course, government will not just engage them and put them out there and leave them. No, no government is going to do that. So they will definitely be trained and retrained, and be given the skills and all the knowledge base to scale up their operational efficiency. So that is what I think, and I'm sure that is what is going to happen.
Okay. So I'm still on the Punch News headline. There is another headline that says NNPC didn't remit 500 billion naira revenue in 2024, and this is a report from the World Bank.
See, you know, we have discussed NNPC on this set several times, on the platform several times, and I said NNPC is one of the institutions of government I don't even like talking about, because when I had opportunity to do a program on under the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, I am an alumni. We are the pioneers of the African Regional Hub of Extractive Industry in Legon, Ghana. So since then, I took interest, when I was doing the program, I took interest that was what drew me into NNPC and its operation, because we did a comparative analysis about the national oil companies, the Norwegian experience, the Nigerian experience, and different Angola, and we used different, we studied different countries, and then my eyes got open on what NNPC is. So NNPC is Nigerian's laughing stock. That is what it is, if we have to tell ourselves the truth. NNPC is yes, NNPC is, I don't know. Well, we pray that a day will come, we will have a government that will handle not just extractive industry.
On Mornibg. Thank you so much, Mr. Boni, for being part of this segment. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Papa.
Well, you're still on Thursday's edition of Mornibg. We'll go on a quick breather, and by the time we return, it will be our next sport, where we'll be interviewing the NOC chairman and the convener of the DNBC, which is the Delta Broadcast Media Conference, which is going to be taking place tomorrow. This time.
Media industry. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, Governor of Delta State. Guest of honor, Charles Anyabu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Delta State. Convener, Ruki Onoro. For inquiries, call 0706 083 8949 or 0706 701 8400. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2025, powered by Delta State Government and Chrysler Development Limited. Supported by DBS, NTA, Trend FM, Rise FM, Mega FM, Crown and Coco FM, Eku FM, Quest FM and TV, Sleek FM, Bridge Radio, NMDPRA, Olili Food and Dominion Pearl Home.
Took or went on that little break, we're talking about how relevant it is for professionals to be the one in charge of discharging information and promoting the policies and programs of the government We're not even talking about the private sector yet. And Sam Fijoko was doing an analysis of how the mainstream media get to the people without being sensational, unprofessional, or passing the wrong narrative to the people. Continue with that thought, sir.
Yeah, so that's why you see that most of the things we see churned out on the social media, at the end of the day, you see some persons coming to either refute or to say that that's not the true representation, we're quoted out of context and all that. That's what these content creators actually do. Maybe they just hear from someone, Sammy has married a fourth wife. Without going to Sammy to go and find out the truth, they just fly there. The mainstream media will not do that. They would look for that guy
and balance the story.
Rookie,
get into the picture.
All right, so let's get something straight. Even the broadcast media houses, they are content creators, right? However, there's the handpicking of one or two videographers over the guys who are the professionals. Exactly. And that's where I have a problem. And that's where I think there's a bit of an injustice, right? As far as the entire broadcast media industry is concerned, So, just like Sammy said, this is for Delta. Governance is for the people of Delta and, of course, by extension, Nigeria, right? So Deltans should be first beneficiaries of the information, the strides of government, and not outsiders. We have stations all around Delta State, from nooks and crannies of Delta State. I mean, there's a station somewhere. I just told you about the station. I never knew there was a station in Eku until I started this campaign. Yeah. My grandma is from Eku. I never knew. So we could give these stations, these media outfits that are scattered around the state, better encouragement, better support for better reportage.
Beneficial to even the government.
Of course.
So-called media houses.
Of course. Right. Of course.
Yes.
It is.
That's quite strong.
So back to the conference, sorry. I want to ask, for those who cannot make it, or for those who would not be able to come due to one unforeseen circumstance or the other, now will provisions be made for them to key into that conference virtually?
Okay, let me just give a quick response to that. Try to be there. That's the first advice.
I'm not talking about me because I know that I will try to be
I'm
there.
talking to
exactly.
those who might not.
Who might not.
For one reason or the other.
Exactly. Most especially health. Let me cascade it down. Most especially health right now.
I will still answer your question. So first off is strive to be at this conference because it will be worth your time. That's the truth. And then secondly, we're looking at trying to see how we can make some bit of an arrangement for those who would connect virtually. But we are looking at those who would be there physically. They are the first guys that we're preparing for. And we'll now see how we get to the other guys who perhaps not be able to make it. And maybe they can even connect because we're going to put some of these information on social media. They can connect to YouTube and get to watch the entire conference once we're done.
Okay, thank you so much.
And there's going to be, it's very likely that the governor will be there. The only thing, state matters. That's number one. If maybe a day two and he has to be summoned or something actually takes him out of the state. But even at that, if he doesn't make it in the best city, we'll send someone. We believe that the Commissioner for Information will also be there. And some other members of the State Executive Council.
Even the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly.
He's going to be there.
So legislations might be made.
So government will be fully represented.
Who knows? Well, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
I want to say men of the press, but this is not just about the press. Men of the broadcast world. And it's not just about presenters or what people call on-air personalities. It's about everyone who makes broadcasting work in Delta State. I'm talking about the drivers. They love to call themselves pilots. The pilots, as they call themselves. The cameramen or some camera women.
Yeah.
Because they have a camera woman.
Right.
People.
That's right.
They'll hear you out. They'll talk to you and let you know how you can be part of the conference. Be part of the conference if you are in a broadcasting station. Even if you're an admin staff who gives us queries every now and then. Be part of their conference. But that's how we wrap it up on Thursday's morning, right?
education, over 3,000 teachers and support staff don join, and schools don dey get better shine.
I really want to say the government have done a good job providing us with these new buildings because we lack lecture or so we are grateful to the government.
For the health sector, 1 billion naira, you dey hear wetin I dey talk? 1 billion naira don burst out our health insurance. Hospitals don dey get better modern equipment and new health colleges don open. Every day changes dey happen for Delta State.